What's up, Gondar? How's it going? There are my peeps. Hi, Ronit. Rudra, my boy. All right, I am all setting up. Excuse me as I try to clear my throat. All right, how's everybody doing? Hi, Surya. Hi, Jana. Nice to see you all. I was just playing with my dogs before I came here, so I feel like I got some dog hair in my nose. They got excited to see me, and then the three of us, me and the two dogs, were cuddling for a little while, which was very enjoyable. Mine is the dog hair in the nose action. All right. Let's see. Who else is here? We got Hira. We got Archit. What's up, my bio peeps? Bio friends, biologists. We got Ishida in the house. Nitin. What's up, Nitin? What's up, Ishida? Ronit, for the quiz, there will be no urinary system questions. Well, there are actually some excretory questions. So there are some kidney questions. There are some questions about ADH, and there are some questions about things like blood pressure in regards to water retention. So, yeah. Ishida, I like the way that you come in. It's very powerful. All caps. I like it. I like your style, Ishida. You have a pretty cool entrance. Archid, we'll have to know about the vaping timeline. No, you don't have to know a vaping timeline. What's up, Karthi? It's nice to see you. Karthi, whose last name is longer, mine or yours? I think you got me beat. Yeah. Hira, what's the difference between bronchioles, bronchi, bronchial tubes? Bronchi, the easiest way to kind of think about it is when the trachea divides up, it goes into bronchi, and then as it continues to branch, it goes into bronchioles. It's the easiest way to think about it. What are renal veins and renal arteries? All right, Rudra, my boy. Tell all your friends that the renal artery and renal vein are super important because the renal artery is going to take unfiltered blood into the kidney, and the kidney is going to filter that, and then it's going to return it to the body via the renal vein. It's very important. Lavi, what's up, Lavi? When asked to describe the pathway of blood through the heart, through the body, where should we start? It's kind of up to you, honestly, where you want to start. I think the way that I taught it in class was starting with the superior and inferior vena cava, which dump into the right atrium. So that's where I start usually. But it's a whole system, so it doesn't really matter where you start as long as you start somewhere and finish up right there. Nitin, explain the function of the nephrons. So nephrons, I think to just kind of put it basically, they are the most basic functional unit of the kidney, and their job is to filter the blood, really. And that's kind of as far as we got. I mean, back in the day, we used to teach the specifics as far as loop of Henle and all these things. You don't have to know that. We left that up to AP Bio to teach students. So you just have to know the basics. All right. Stefan, hi, nice to see you. Stefan's got the coolest hat of any Monte Vista student. I'm going to put that out there. And he wears it with pride, too. What is the name of the heart wall, Ishida? That is the septum, interventricular septum. Hira. Good job, Hira, for answering that question. Yep, interventricular. Yep. All right, let's see. Gondar. Yep. Interventricular septum is fun to say. You know what else is more fun to say, Gondar? Medulla oblongata. That's a more fun one to say. Ishida, you're good, man. You're good. It's all good. So Gondar, what's the medulla oblongata? You know that, right? The medulla oblongata. It helps with breathing. The medulla oblongata. Someone spell it out for Gondar. Oblongata. I like saying that much more than interventricular septum. I don't know why. It just sounds cool. Oblongata. The medulla oblongata. Haven't learned it yet? No worries. Well, the medulla oblongata plays a role in that it measures the acidity of your blood, really. So if you have a lot of CO2 in your blood, it's going to be more acidic. So it's going to send a signal to your diaphragm to help you breathe more, right? So your diaphragm is then going to contract. The space in your lung cavity is going to increase, and then that's going to result in air pressure decreasing. That's why air comes in. Air goes from an area of high concentration to low concentration, so it comes into your body. Who is Master USA? Master USPA 542. Who dat? Identify yourself, Master. And then I will answer your question. Yeah, blood pH regulation. That's right, Gondar. All right, Ronit, if you're studying the guide we posted, we ignored the lymphatic system questions. And yes, that's correct, Ronit. Do not worry about fetal heart circulation or the lymphatic stuff because I haven't taught you either one of those. And I'm not planning on teaching you fetal heart circulation, but I will go over some lymphatic stuff next week. Karthi, can you explain why high sodium intake causes high blood pressure? Sure, Karthi. So if you have high salt intake, your kidneys, in a sense, try to match the amount of salt you have because they have to have much more water, right? Because otherwise you're going to get dehydrated. So your kidneys, with a high amount of salt, they're going to try to retain much more water. Retaining water means taking that water and putting it into your bloodstream. So retaining water means your blood volume is going to increase. And when your blood volume is increased, your blood pressure is going to increase. Because think about it this way. When you have more blood and you have the same amount of vessels and the same number, same everything, and you just have more of it to distribute, the pressure is going to get higher. Okay. All right. Will cardiovascular health and disease be part of the quiz? Yes, Rudra, it will be. Nissa. I always forget. Man, I gotta write this stuff down. What is the connection between the circulatory and respiratory systems? Well, the circulatory system is going to try to distribute all of this oxygen throughout the body, right? That's its job. Respiratory system is to help the circulatory system by oxygenating that blood that the circulatory system is trying to spread. I just made that up. Did you hear that? I call it the respiratory system as a combination of respiratory and circulatory. Oh, Master, you are my boy Arnav. All right. Do we need to know the heart wall for the quiz? Yeah, you got to know the heart wall for everything. Hira, do our lungs diffuse CO2 back to exhale it out? Well, the CO2 that's in your red blood cells are going to go into your alveoli, and then you're going to exhale that. That is correct. Does the spleen contain both T and B cells to fight off disease? Stefan, I want you to just kind of worry about the T cells. Will there be any identification on the test? Ronit, you'll need to identify parts of the heart. That'll be really important. Hira. All right, let's see what else. What we got? We got 20 peeps here. Will there be an A-level question, Nitin? Nope, there's no A-level question. What is hemoglobin, Surya? Surya, hemoglobin is basically a protein that red blood cells have, and hemoglobin is what attracts oxygen. But remember, carbon monoxide is it's a lot. Your hemoglobin is much more attracted to carbon monoxide than it is to oxygen. So if it's choosing between those two, that's a problem. But generally speaking, hemoglobin is to attract oxygen so that your red blood cells can have oxygen. Will the quiz cover everything from respiratory and circulatory system, no other systems? So Ishida, it does have some excretory in there too. Not a whole lot, but you'll need to know ADH. You'll need to know things like caffeine, alcohol, and what those things all do to your how much blood your kidneys can retain. Lavi, what does the pH of our blood decrease when we hold our breath? Because the more CO2 you have in your blood, the more acidic. If you remember from our ecology unit, When you have CO2 in water, it turns into carbonic acid, right? And acid meaning more acidic. So that's why. Why does atherosclerosis happen in arteries and not veins? Great question, Nissa. So it happens in arteries because there's actually a structural difference between arteries and veins, right? Arteries have an interior lining, whereas veins don't. So you know what? Let's take a quick break. Let's pause that question. Let's pause the rest of the questions, and let's actually go over the differences between arteries and veins. So number one, arteries have an inner lining, veins don't. Arteries handle much higher pressure of blood. The veins don't. Veins have valves in them, one-way valves that prevent the backflow of blood. Arteries don't have that. So which would it be worse to get cut, an artery or a vein? Hopefully you would think the artery, right? Because there's higher pressure blood going through it. So really any artery can build atherosclerosis, whereas veins just cannot because of their structure. Arteries also have thicker walls. Veins don't have those thick walls. Okay, great question. Nissa, you get the prize so far for asking an awesome question. All right. Moderate amounts of alcohol is good. Why is that though? So it's not so much alcohol, Gondar. It's supposed to be red wine. But generally speaking, alcohol is not great for your body, right? It's not good for your brain necessarily. It's not good for your body. It's not good for your liver. But I have heard that red wine can be good for your heart. But I don't quite know all the reasons why. I think it's because of the chemicals that red wine contains. All right. For the lymphatic system, all we need to know about are white blood cells, right? Yeah, let's go over white blood cells versus red blood cells. So, white blood cells, generally speaking, if you have an increased amount of or elevated number of white blood cells, it means your body's fighting an infection. Red blood cells, they don't have a nucleus. Their job is to carry oxygen with hemoglobin, whereas white blood cells are fighting infections or pathogens in your body. Gas exchange. Yeah, so here's how gas exchange happens, Nisa. You basically have in your alveoli, right? So gas exchange, so oxygen goes into your mouth or your nose, it goes in your pharynx, it goes on your larynx, in your trachea, in your bronchi, bronchioles, and eventually your alveoli. Now, when it's in the alveoli, this sac of air, right? There's something called a capillary. A capillary is right next to an alveoli. A capillary is a really tiny blood vessel. Okay, so the blood vessels that you need to know are capillaries, which are tiny, veins, and arteries. Capillaries are the tiniest. So a capillary, a tiny blood vessel, is right next to your air sac, which is the alveoli. So what happens is red blood cells line single file, and they move their way through. And as they're going through, they're giving their CO2 to the alveoli and grabbing the oxygen. And that's how gas exchange takes place. Okay. So, Ronit, you'll need to know about diuretics. Yes, you will need to know about diuretics. Here, okay, let's see. Yeah, arteries do have higher pressure. Who said that? Lobby. Gondar, diuretics make you pee more by causing the lungs to reserve water. Okay, so Gondar, diuretics make you pee more by causing the kidneys, right? What they do, diuretics block the action of ADH. ADH is antidiuretic hormone. It's a hormone that allows your kidneys to retain water. So when that hormone is blocked, so things like alcohol and caffeine, it blocks your kidney from retaining water, which means that water is now going to go to your bladder and you're going to pee it out. So things like alcohol and caffeine are going to make you pee more. No, sorry, Gandhar. Sorry about your audio not working. What else we got? Arnav, do veins in the upper body have valves? Yes, Arnav. All veins are going to have valves for sure. And remember, your heart is going to have valves too. You got the tricuspid valve, the bicuspid valve, or the mitral valve. You're going to have your pulmonary valve and your aortic valve. So there are actually 4 valves that you'll need to know of for the heart. Ishira, lacteals. So it's spelled Lacteals. Lacteals are going to be in your microvilli and villi, and those are networks of blood vessels that absorb lipids. But you won't need to know that for this upcoming quiz. This quiz will not cover that unit or that section. What else we got? Karthi, functions of cortex and medulla. So you won't actually need to know that. Cortex and medulla, you'll need to be able to identify where they are. But when it comes to the kidney, I just want you to know what a nephron does, which we went over. Okay, what is the function of the mesentery on it? So the mesentery is basically going to connect the small intestine to the rest of the body. So when the small intestine does all that absorption, all that stuff that's getting absorbed is going to go through the mesentery to your body. Yeah, Ishida. So the microvilli or the lacteals are going to be in the small intestine, generally speaking. They're going to be in the villi and microvilli. And yeah, Hira is right. So they're along with capillaries. Capillaries are going to absorb proteins and carbohydrates. Yep, you guys are all helping each other out as always, which I appreciate. Is a lymph fluid the spilled over plasma of blood? Sort of, in a sense, here. So all that lymph fluid is stuff that your body is going to try to get rid of, and that's why you have these lymph nodes that are going to try to get rid of all of that. It's kind of like the custodians, in a sense, of the body. They have a very important job. All right. Excuse me. Anna Lee. I don't know an Anna Lee. Hi, Anna Lee. Who is your teacher? Is the uterus inflatable? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know, but I don't think so. I've never tried that, and it would be very challenging. Do you need to know about the parts of the blood and the specific functions of each? Yeah. Yeah, you should. You should definitely know about plasma, platelets, for sure. Nissa, can you tell me if I'm pronouncing your name right again? I know I've asked you 1,000 times. Where does bronchitis occur and what is pneumonia? Okay, so Nissa, bronchitis occurs in your bronchioles or your bronchi, right? It's inflammation of the bronchi. Pneumonia has to do with your alveoli. So it's when you have an infection in your alveoli, right? Both could be pretty bad. The mesentery doesn't have a specific function, Ishida. No, Ishida, it's not just tissue. It actually does help. It is tissue too, but it does help take things from your. Because think about it, when your small intestine absorbs all this stuff, right? What's it supposed to do with it? It's got to take it somewhere, right? So the mesentery is sort of a way for the small intestine to distribute all that stuff, all the absorbed stuff to your body. Gondar, we do have a quiz tomorrow. Yes. Lymph fluid, Stefan. Lymph fluid is basically all the fluid from everything around your body, right? Like all this. I don't want to call it gunk, but it's all the stuff from around your body. It's all the fluid that's being collected from around your body. All right. What are platelets? So Ishida, platelets are fragments of cells that are produced in your bone marrow. And what else? What else can I tell you about them? They help block, I guess, bleeding. Not block, but stop bleeding. So if you've ever been cut and you start bleeding, what stops it is your platelets. But platelets also play a role in heart attacks. You gotta make sure you know that. If smoking can cause chronic bronchitis, what can it lead to? It can lead to chronic bronchitis. It can cause that, right? It can cause emphysema, a lot of other things. Nisa. Okay. Sorry, Nisa. Nisa. Kind of like Nissan, but Nisa, which is way cooler than Nissan. What do plasma and platelets do, Nitin? Nitin, plasma is just part of, like, when you think about what blood is, it's not just red blood cells. Plasma is the whole thing, right? Plasma contains all these different things. Platelets are the ones that are going to be the things that are going to be sticky and they're going to stop bleeding. So, like, think about something like hemophilia, right? Hemophilia is a disease or a disorder in which your platelets aren't going to work the way you want them to, or you don't have enough platelets. So, any kind of injury, any kind of bleeding could go on for a while. So, it's actually pretty dangerous. So, you wouldn't be able to do things like contact sports and whatnot. Ishida, what connection did you just make? Yeah, that's where the nutrients go. Yep. Hira, does the parasympathetic nervous system regulate the kidney, or is it an autonomic nervous system? Hira, I will totally get into that for you. I just don't want to confuse everybody by getting into those because I haven't discussed those terms much in class, or I don't think ever in class. So let's chat sometime. I would love to sit with you and go over that with you sometime, or email me and I will gladly respond. Nisa, what are foam cells and what do they do? Okay, so in the video lecture for cardiovascular disease, there's one, no, dog hair. there's one part where we go over specifically what they do. So basically, foam cells is kind of how a plaque forms, right? So you get all this LDL, low density lipoproteins, which is the bad type of cholesterol that builds in the inner lining of your arteries. And then eventually macrophages come in and macrophages try to help the problem, but they end up turning into foam cells. And the combination of all of that over some time ends up being plaque, right? And that plaque built up over a long period of time ends up being atherosclerosis. All right. If platelets are fragments of cells, are they special cells or random parts of? They're random parts of cells. They're not actually cells. Platelets are not considered cells. Platelets attached to cuts and yep. Got poison ivy on my. Okay. I don't know, Annalie. I don't know if you're one of my students, but that's an interesting question. Okay, Nisa, Gondar. Will diseases be part of the quiz? Yes, Ronit. You should definitely know about diseases. In the video lectures. Yeah, you won't be expected to know anything that I haven't taught you before. Nisa, what would happen if TPA is given to a person who's had a hemorrhagic stroke? So Nisa, what would happen is that person will bleed more and probably die because they would have a ton of internal bleeding. Because TPA is supposed to break up clots, right? By sort of in a way like thinning your blood. So if you give TPA to somebody who's had a hemorrhagic stroke, that would be bad news. So that's a big no-no. Okay. What else we get? Yep, Hero, you're right. They would bleed to death, most likely. Not a good idea. Do we need to know what caused atherosclerosis for the quiz? Yeah, Ishida, you should definitely know that. What causes atherosclerosis, right? Poor diet, lack of exercise, stress, all those things will cause atherosclerosis. Shreya, what are we expected to know for the lymphatic system? So Shreya, I didn't teach much of the lymphatic system actually, so I'm not including it on this quiz. I don't know about Miss Chow. I know Mr. Gan is including it on this quiz, so yeah, but I don't quite know what you guys have learned about it. What are all things our bone marrow does, Hira? Your bone marrow is gonna produce B cells, it's gonna produce platelets, and it's where you have a lot of sort of what's called, I guess, stem cells. All right. Did I tell you guys I've totally gotten into carbonated water? Love this stuff. Just buy it from Costco. It comes in a huge pack of, I don't know how many of them, probably like 20, 30 of them. Love this stuff. This flavor is not my favorite though. This is lime flavor. My favorite one is the berry flavor. It's got no sugar. Alrighty. Let's see. Gondar, check that. Are you sure bone marrow makes white blood cells? Alex is who's Alex Love Apples? Is that Alex Wu, Alex Scove, or Alex McCormick? But the answer is no. We do not have any homework, at least in my class. Hira T3 is it thyroxine? Hira, I actually don't remember the answer to that. But if you just say T3 and T4, I'll be happy with that. You'd have to look that up for me to see which one that is because it's been a while since I looked it up. I've just been referring to it as T3 and T4. I know, Stefan, you're totally right, man. I am. You know what? I kind of wanted to treat myself to, but I just haven't yet. I should, though. You know what? You're motivating me to do that, Stefan. I wanted to buy one of those little machines that makes carbonated water for you. You know, you just pour water in it and then it just carbonates it. And then you can, if you want, you can add flavoring to it. I would love one of those machines, but I haven't gotten one. So, but you're right. It comes in a plastic water bottle, which I'm not proud of at all. No bueno. All right, let's see. Yeah, Stefan shamed me on YouTube, but I deserved it. What is anemia, Nisa? Anemia has to do with not having enough oxygen in your blood. So it has to do with your hemoglobin and just the lack of that in your blood. It's from the thyroid. Gondar, yeah. Let's see. Thank you, Nitin, for looking that up. Ishida, this isn't related to the chapter, but is it okay to drink water that has a pH of 9.5? Because my dad got that from Whole Foods and it's alkaline water. Yeah, I don't know enough about that. I watched just one YouTube video where they tested different types of water, bottled water, to see what their pH was. And they were talking about how the more alkaline, the better. I don't know enough about that. I would like to learn more about that to see what that's all about. But yeah, alkaline water is supposed to be good. It's supposed to be good for you. So I will try to up my own knowledge in that area. Yeah, good job, Gondar. Anemia is a decrease in the oxygen carrying capacity of our blood cells. Good job. All right. Stefan, you don't need to know the real name. You can know the real names for T3 and T4, but I just want you to know T3 and T4. I'm okay with you just knowing that. Do nephrons maintain water concentration in blood? So nephrons end up being able to help with filtering that blood. That's really their job. How do white blood cells mature? Nisa, I don't think that that's something that you need to be concerned about. You need to know necessarily. I just know they need all their parts. So maturing means that they need to be like fully prepared to be able to attack. So they need lots of different components to them to be mature, to be considered mature. All right. Ishida, you're funny. I like your style. All right. Filtering blood. What I mean by that, Stefan, is just kind of removing the water, removing even some of the gunk out of blood, right? So your liver and your kidney both play a role in that. Your liver is going to try to remove a lot of the poisons, a lot of the toxic stuff out of your blood, and your kidney is going to try to remove salts and all that stuff out of your blood. Yeah, good questions, you all. I like it. Hey, I got 3 likes. I'll take it. You guys remember last time when we tried to like up my likes and felt kind of pathetic actually, but I appreciate you guys. Look, I got 4. You guys rock. Since HIV attacks white blood cells, will it also attack the thymus tissue and gland? So, in a sense, I guess it could. Yeah, I guess so. Hey, 7 likes. Look at you guys. 8? No, I don't see 8. Ronit, don't lie to me. I see 7. I see 8 now. Okay, my bad, Ronit. My bad. What are you all drinking right now? Hopefully, you all have water or some kind of a fluid that's helping you hydrate. All right, let's see what else I want to tell you. Okay, you all ready to write down all the things you should know? I'm going to give you a list of things you need to know for this quiz for sure. Okay. How many questions will there be? Ooh, Surya, I want to say around 30. Okay. Ishida, you want me to wait? Okay, I'll wait. Let's all wait for Ishida. Ishida is getting paper in all caps. Here, there's no B or C level questions. Everything's combined. So the good thing about that is that you don't have to do an A level question. The not so good thing about it is that it'll be a raw score. It won't be a CPA score. No worries, Ishida. I'm just messing with you. You got it? Okay, perfect. Okay, write down everything you need to know. I'm going to try to go off memory. Number 1, you got to know differences between arteries versus veins. It's really important. Okay. You should definitely know you should be able to label the heart. You should be able to tell me what type of blood is in each part of the heart, whether it's oxygen rich or oxygen poor. You should be, get this a little lower, okay? A little more. Okay, there we go. I feel like I was pointing, I feel like I was like this. Not cool. Not cool, H dog. That's what I call myself. Because I try to sound cool in my own head, but I'm not. What else? Yeah, so you'll need to be able to label the heart, tell me oxygen poor versus oxygen rich. Be able to tell me the flow of blood through the heart. That's super important. I need to stop saying besides that, you need to be able to, let's see, we talked about arteries versus veins. Know about respiratory disorders or diseases. Okay. Know about structures of the respiratory system, be able to follow air into like where it's supposed to go, epiglottis, know about things like smoking and what it can cause. Um, let's see, different cardiovascular disorders or diseases. Know about heart attacks versus cardiac arrest versus strokes, and know that there's two different types of strokes. So understand both of them really well. There's ischemic and then there's hemorrhagic. So understand those really well. Understand kidney function. Understand what ADH can do, what caffeine and alcohol can do. Let's see. I think that's kind of the gist of it. Yeah, understand the process of inhalation and exhalation. I think those are really important. So, I feel like those are all the basics that we covered. And I think if you have a solid foundation in those areas and like are really able to describe how it all works, I think you're gonna be just fine. So yeah, that's what's coming to mind right now about what you need to know. Red blood cells versus white blood cells. Cool. I say those things are muy importante. And gracias for the 10 likes. Is all this on the review sheet? I think so, Ishida. I think a lot of it is. Cool. Connor, T3 and T4 Connor will not be on this quiz, so don't worry about that just yet. Okay, but just understand that those have to do with metabolism. Okay? No problem, Ronnie. 11. What, are you guys seeing things before I do? I think you are. I think I'm a little, I think, you know what I need to do? What do I need to do? No, never mind. Never mind. Let me see. Let me fix a couple things. All right. So, different types of strokes. Yes. What's up, Nika Zamani? Nice to see you here. I was talking to Jennifer about you today after school and how excited I am that you're going to be one of my TAs next year. I'm super stoked about that. Okay, Nika, different types of strokes. So there's ischemic and there's hemorrhagic. Ischemic is much more common, right? 80% of strokes are going to be considered ischemic, whereas 20% are hemorrhagic. Ischemic is basically when a plaque breaks somewhere in your body. It works its way to your brain, and your brain has tiny arteries. So at some point, it might get stuck in one of those tiny arteries. When that happens, blood flow is going to be blocked, and a specific part of your brain is not going to be receiving oxygen anymore. That's ischemic stroke. Hemorrhagic is sometimes genetic because of certain drugs. It's basically when part of your artery can become weak. And so when it becomes weak, when blood's going through it, at some point, that weakened wall is going to kind of balloon out. So that weakened wall is going to balloon out a little bit. And then that balloon is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger over time. Eventually, blood's pooling there, and then that might burst at some point. And so that's an aneurysm, right? An aneurysm is when you have that weakened artery that's got blood pooling. And then when it bursts, now you have a hemorrhage, right? And that's why it's called a hemorrhagic stroke. And now you got internal bleeding in your brain. I hope that helps, Nika. Yes, thank you for mentioning that, Arnav. Process of atherosclerosis is very important. It is on the quiz. Plaque, atherosclerosis, heart health, all of those are really important. All right. Okay, Miranda, for blood pressure and salt question, what if I don't drink water after eating high sodium food? Will the blood pressure still go up? Well, you're gonna drink water, right? I mean, maybe not right away, but as you're eating more salt, your body's gonna get more dehydrated. And as you get more dehydrated, your body's gonna send you a signal of like, hey, you gotta give me some water. I'm thirsty. So ultimately, you're gonna drink some water. And when you do drink that water, your body's gonna hold on to that water. Okay. Nitin, can more intense concussions lead to hemorrhagic strokes or aneurysms? I don't know. I would assume so, Nitin. I would guess so, but I don't quite know. Roma Hashemi is here. Roma, you are another one of my future TAs for next year, so super excited to have you here. Go over the kidney function in detail. So Roma, what I was saying earlier was that you need to be able to identify the cortex and the medulla in the pig for the practical, but you don't need to know it for tomorrow's quiz. You need to know what a nephron does. and it's the most basic functional unit of the kidney, and it helps with the filtering the blood. But really, Roma, you need to understand the part you need to understand the most is kind of the idea behind what ADH does and what diuretics do, and the relationship between salt intake and blood pressure. Those are the things you really need to understand. Yeah, Stefan, you're correct about the excess salt. Yeah, it would try to filter that out ultimately for sure, but you'd still have to drink water. Could you explain the relationship between salt intake and blood pressure? Yeah, so we'll go over that one more time. So when you eat more salt, when you eat lots of, excuse me, not just like a tablespoon of salt, that's what I made it sound like. When you have salty foods, high salt intake, your kidneys are going to want to retain more water, to hold on to more water. That water ends up being part of your blood, right? And then your blood volume ends up increasing. And as your blood volume increases, your blood pressure increases. So when you have more blood, which is blood volume, you're going to have to push that more with more force into your arteries. And that's what blood pressure is. Here does filter out water. Yep. You guys are all right. So does dehydration mean retaining water? Dehydration means that your body needs water. And when you drink water, it's going to want to retain some of that. When it's had enough, then you're going to pee the rest of it out. But your body is constantly trying to make sure it's got enough water, right? Anyone remember how much water you're supposed to drink? Let's see if anyone knows it. First person to put that up there. I don't know what I'll give you. I'll give you some M&Ms. Let's see. How much water you... Nope. Nisa, that's a good guess. My dad used to tell me that, but no. Nice. Nitin, you get the prize. Half your body weight in ounces. Good job. So if you're, say, 120 pounds, you're going to need to drink 60 ounces of water. So think about how much an ounce is. So this guy right here, this is 18 ounces, this thing that I'm holding, right? So if you're 120 pounds and you need to drink 60 ounces, and this is 18, so about 3 of these. Cool. Good job, Nathan. Remind me and I will give you M&Ms. I won't be there tomorrow, though. Remember that tomorrow Mr. Penn is going to be there instead of me. So I'll see you on Monday for some M&Ms, Nathan. All right. 18 to 20, Archit. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm still not good at drinking enough water. I feel like I got to get better at it. I don't know about you guys, but I got to improve in that area. I think for me, when it's something like this, carbonated water, or when it's tea, like delicious tea, I'm much more likely to drink water. But just water by itself is not always, I don't know, it lacks flavor. All right. Ishida water is good for your system. Yes, it is. Nathan, I got peanut M&Ms. You cool with that? You have huge glasses of water that you have every day after school. That's good, Ishida. That's really good. I really need to get better at that. And then the other thing is, before I go to bed, I don't like drinking water because I hate getting up in the middle of the night to pee. Hate it. I'm trying to get much better though at waking up, and the moment I wake up, having a glass of water. Really trying to get better at that. And I'm trying to put some apple cider vinegar in my water. It's got tons of benefits. And sometimes even a tiny bit of lemon juice. Nitin, you're not allowed to drink water because of wrestling? Is it because of a weight thing? Like it's going to make you heavier? Is that why? Why do swimming pools make you thirsty? It's a great question. I always assume that it has to do with just how much energy you're exerting. Ishida, you're awesome. All right. What else you all got? Any other questions? We got 22 peeps here, 21 now. Send any other questions my way, and I'd be happy to answer them for you. I know Miss Chow is coming on at 7:45 as well. You got to stay under 110? Oh, wow, Nitin, really? Oh, man. So I just dropped weight. I was around 155, and I'm now around 144. So just in the last month, I've dropped 10 because of that diet that I've been on, that keto diet. Mr. Jones saw me today, and he's like, yeah, I can actually tell by looking at your face. That's cool. But for me, honestly, it's not so much about the weight. It's really not. It's about how you feel. If you feel good, you know, do you feel good? Do you feel fit? Um, so it's not for me. It's not. It's not just a number. The number doesn't almost doesn't matter to me. That's interesting, Nitin. That you got to be under 110. So what happens, Nitin, if you put on, say, like if you go up to 115? Do you just have to join the next class, like the next, what do you call it, weight category? And if so, why is that a bad thing? I have so many questions for you, Nitin, regarding wrestling. I love wrestling, by the way. Huge fan. I'm pretty decent at it. All right, my homies. Anything else you all got? If not, I will go off on a tangent like I usually do and talk about random stuff. Stuff. All right. I don't see anything else coming in. It's so weird when I try to watch the video from your guys' view. It's reversed. Never mind. Check the review sheet for more confusing things. Cool. Here's a question for you all that maybe don't have any more questions. I was doing an interview for El Stoke today, and the question was, what inspires you? It's a great question. So I want to throw that at you guys. What inspires you? Who or what inspires you? Or has anything inspired you in the last month or this semester? That's my question for you. The next weight class, but then oh, okay. So if you go to the weight class, everybody's bigger than you. Gap size is bigger between. Oh, really? Interesting. I didn't know that. Some unknown person said I inspire them. I'm assuming that's a lie. Let's see. What's the difference between red and white blood cells aside from the nucleus, Nika? Nika, red blood cells, their job is to distribute oxygen around the body. White blood cells are going to fight pathogens. That's kind of it. White blood cells, you got two different types of white blood cells. Red blood cells have the protein that allows you to kind of know what type of blood cell it is. Remember A, B, O, AB. Nitin, you're sweet, man. You inspire me. I don't believe you. You're just saying that because you want a better score on your quiz. Oh, man. All right. This unknown person says they watch my streams a lot. Very nice of you. I hope that you enjoy them. I hope they're educational for you. Do white blood cells have a nucleus or is the same as red blood cells? Sheeta. White blood cells do have a nucleus, yeah. No, red blood cells don't. Cool. Ishida, what inspires you? That's what I want to know. What or who inspires you? Tell me. Dígame. I'm inspired to get myself one of those machines, the carbonated water machine thingies. But I keep saying that and I don't get it. Do white blood cells? What else? Ishida, you don't know what inspires you? Come on, homie. What if that was like a question you had to answer to get into a program or a college or something? Like what or who inspires you? What actions inspire you? You guys know what inspired me? And this is what I told Ellis Tokay person interviewing me today. Iman was her name. I saw this person. I was driving home one day and I saw this person running on the street. And this person didn't look fit. And they were running in a pretty kind of hardcore, like slopey area, steep. And it was raining. And all of that, I think this was before I really got into working out. Like I saw this person and I was like, that's cool. That's legit. To see somebody who has put aside, I don't know, like it's easy to look out there to be like, it's raining, I'm not going outside. But to do that is pretty cool to me. So that inspires me. Yeah, Ronit, I will not be there tomorrow, amigo. Ishida, a few singers and artists because you love to sing and you want to be one? Oh, you want to be a singer? I guess. Yeah, see. Ishida, what's up with that? I haven't even heard you sing, homie. You gotta come sing in front of me sometime. What are the consequences of being in high altitude? Surya. So you don't have to know that for this quiz, but it does impact the way that your your red blood cells can intake oxygen. That's cool, Ishida. I respect your answer. It's all good. Jonathan, good to see you, homie. It's okay that you're late. After me, Miss Chow is stepping in, so it's all good. My lit teacher said that Californians have the willpower to bike in the rain. Not all Californians. I don't think I have the willpower to bike in the rain, and I'm a Californian. Stefan V, does oxygen have any effect on the pH of blood? Yeah, Stefan. So if your blood is going to have a lot of CO2 in it, it's going to be more acidic. If it's going to have, like, for example, we talked about how when somebody's hyperventilating, right, what they're doing is they're breathing in so much oxygen, and their blood is starting to become more basic. So what they do is hold a paper bag, and they breathe into a paper bag because now they're breathing in the CO2 that they were exhaling, and the CO2 starts to bring the acidity or bring the pH of their blood back down to a more normal level by, making it a little more acidic than it was before. Really, Ishida? Can you send me the video for a contest? I want to watch. I totally want to hear you sing. That'd be awesome. You guys, all my students are like my babies. I want to see your guys' accomplishments. I want to see what you guys do because it makes me proud and it makes me happy. And I get to see you not just as a bio student, because I feel like that's like 99% of what I see of you guys is just you being my bio students. But I know that there's so much more to you than that. So show me stuff. Like if you got a video of yourself singing, I want to watch that. Hyperventilation, CO2 is good for hyperventilation. Yeah, you could say that, Ishida. Jonathan, if you breathe in pure oxygen, is it not good for you? I don't see why it would be bad for you. I know there's places that charge for that. Will there be a sex ed test? Yes, Ronit, there will be in 3 weeks. 3 weeks from tomorrow. Do I remember the book you gave me? Yeah, Ishida, I do remember that book I gave you in the beginning of the semester. You said you read it, right? Awesome. What'd you think about it? You finished it. Rudra, we need to know about the different surgical plot. Yes, Rudra, thank you for reminding me. You do need to know about the different ways of remedying the situation, the different types of surgery and whatnot for cardiovascular disease. The book was good. I'm glad. I am glad. I don't know if it inspired you or not, but now that you're done with it, bring it back and I'll give it to somebody else who could use it. Yeah, really? Ishida, that's amazing. That's so good to hear that your heart rate normalized. Apparently, people that breathe in pure oxygen can hold their breath for a really long time, like 20 minutes. Okay. I have not heard of that, but so I don't know much about it. What are antioxidants and what do they do? So here, antioxidants are basically things that you can get from different types of foods or fruits, like blueberries is a classic example. It has antioxidants, which basically means it has these chemicals in it that basically grab your free radicals in your body and prevent them from oxidizing. So when you digest food, all the breakdown of food ends up resulting in these things called free radicals. They can ultimately, over time, oxidize, and antioxidants prevent that from happening, which is a good thing. So you want antioxidants in your food. Cool. All right, let's see. Yeah, I remember that, Ishida. You think that was atherosclerosis? I don't think so. Rana, do you need to know photo book number 3? Well, yeah, you do. Photo book number 3. I mean, the content from it would be important, but photo book number 3 was really made to help you for mini practical number 3, not necessarily for this quiz. Difference between sudden cardiac arrest and heart attack, Archit. So sudden cardiac arrest has to do with malfunction of your electrical signal of your heart, whereas a heart attack is typically due to atherosclerosis and a blockage of one of your arteries. Remember, any artery can build atherosclerosis. Remember that. Okay, carotid endarterectomy, Rudra. That's when they go in here, your carotid artery is right here, and they actually end up removing the gunk or the plaque from inside of it. What I'm trying to say, high heart rate for when you're not doing anything is caused by atherosclerosis. Oh, I see. Okay, but you're not saying you had atherosclerosis, right? It's not what you're saying. Jonathan, explain the flow of blood. Sure, man, no problem. So, flow of blood. So it goes from your superior and inferior vena cava. Superior brings in blood from your neck and head. Inferior from the rest of the body. They both dump that deoxygenated blood or oxygen poor blood into your right ventricle. That blood then goes through the tricuspid valve into your right atrium, then goes into your tricuspid valve into your right ventricle. From there, it's going to exit through the pulmonary valve, go into the pulmonary artery, go to your lungs, and that's where it goes into little capillaries, right? Go to your lungs, come back as oxygen rich blood through the pulmonary veins, dump into the left atrium. From there, it's going to go through the bicuspid or mitral valve, go into your left ventricle. From there, it's going to go into the aortic valve and then into the aorta and to the rest of your body. I hope that helps. I know that was fast. All right. What does the coronary artery do? Nitin, coronary arteries are going to feed your heart with oxygen. So that's why, when you get a blockage in your coronary artery, that's a heart attack. But the coronary artery is not the only artery that can build, like atherosclerosis can happen in. If you study the photo book, will be prepared for the quiz, Hira. I don't think there's way more to it, Hira. It's not just a photo book. The photo books are intended to prepare you for practicals. All right. So what's the difference between oxygen rich and poor? Surya, oxygen rich means oxygenated, means that blood has oxygen. Oxygen poor means that it doesn't have oxygen, it has CO2 instead. Where's the pyloric sphincter? Yeah, you're correct on it. We won't have those type of questions like what is the apex's function or where's the pyloric sphincter or the lower esophageal sphincter. Besides, those were questions that were pulled from the digestive part of the unit, which we're not focusing on in this quiz. Yeah, I know questions are flowing. I like it. No problem, Jonathan. Anytime, buddy. Does the blood actually touch the lungs when it's deoxygenated? Almost, Ishida. So remember, you have your air sac, your alveoli, and you have your capillary right next to it. So in a sense, you could say they're pretty much touching. We have to know about bronchophilic artery. No, here, you don't have to know that. Is there a carotid or nope? I don't know. I don't know about a carotid vein. I don't know. No problem, unknown person. I did not know that I helped you ace your last biology test. Are you a Monte Vista student, unknown person? How does the lymphatic system help defend the body? Jayanti, it helps because you got things like B cells and T cells that attack foreign pathogens. All right, Ishida, capillaries transfer deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Yeah, so it works kind of like this. Your pulmonary arteries take the deoxygenated blood and they take it, and pulmonary arteries, those arteries eventually turn into tiny capillaries. And those capillaries turn into pulmonary veins. Capillaries transfer deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Yep, pretty much. Stefan, you don't understand how oxygen will decrease pH if it's neutral? Does the pH just have to do with the CO2? Yeah, the pH just has to do with the CO2 concentration. Exactly. You're right. Yep. And Hira, thank you for helping out with that. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Hey, Miss Chow just texted me and she says she's preparing to live stream. So it is 7:40. I know you got me for 5 more minutes. So I will go until Miss Chow is on there. Let me pop up Miss Chow's. How do I get to Mrs. Chow's YouTube channel? I haven't been there in a while. I think I might join in for a few minutes. All right, what do I type in? Pam Chow MV Biology. I see it. I found it. All right. Cool. I'm going to crash the party, possibly. All right, let's see. Can veins have capillaries? Veins don't have capillaries. So capillaries are like they're another type of blood vessel. So arteries can turn into capillaries, which can turn into veins. Does that make sense? Unknown person, you are an MV student. Okay, are you a freshman? I like how we're playing this game. Are you a freshman? And are you in my class? All right. Surya, what happens when trachea doesn't work? Your trachea has these rings around it that prevent it from collapsing. And the name of those rings are carina, which you don't have to know. But what do you mean if it doesn't work? Do you mean the cilia? Do you mean if it collapses? Like which of those things? Dialysis. Root of dialysis is when somebody's kidneys don't function properly and they actually have to be hooked up to a machine every so often. And that machine does what the kidneys would do for them. Stefan, breathing in will decrease pH because you're taking in more oxygen that is converted to CO2 and exhaling will release that. Stefan, I guess so. I guess look at it this way. When you have more CO2 in your blood, if you have a lot of CO2, your blood can become acidic, right? If you don't have enough CO2, your blood can become basic. Ronit, we don't need to know functions, but we don't need to know location. So Ronit, you do need to know functions. You just don't need to know locations. So you need to know functions for tomorrow. You need to know diseases for tomorrow. You just don't need to know locations. Everything else you need to know. All right. There's a test, the same format as the digestive. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Same format. Hey, there's Miss Chow. Ready to take over? All right, Miss Chow. Great to see you. Unknown person says student. I don't know what that means. Student of whom? If you are dehydrated, does your body retain more or less water? So if you're dehydrated, you're going to want to drink more water, right? So as you drink more water, your kidneys are going to retain some of that water. And then once it gets to a point where it has plenty of water, your body has plenty of water, you're going to start peeing it out. Okay. Good night, Ronit. It's great to have you around. Great stream. Thank you, Ronit. I appreciate you. Unknown person, you will be one NMV student. Okay. Okay. All right. Good stuff. Sounds good. Archit. Archit says, oh, okay. Cool. My homies, it has been nice. It's been a pleasure working with you all. Again, as always, I feel very lucky to get to work with you all. So thank you for being yourselves. Arvin, what is your name spelled like that? Arvin, hi, Miss Chow's YouTube channel. I just got there. I typed in Pam Chow, MV Biology, and I have found her YouTube channel. So again, Pam Chow, MV Biology. That is how you get onto Miss Chow's channel. So enjoy. Move on. I'm gonna pass the torch on to Mrs. Chow. I like how we're all trying to find out about unknown person. Unknown person, give us more. Everybody wants to know unknown person now. Unknown person, where are you from? What school do you go to? You said you're going to be going to Monte Vista. Does that mean you're at Kennedy? We all have so many questions for you. All right. All right. Cool. All right, homies. Thanks very much. You guys are amazing. I won't see you tomorrow, but I will see you on Monday. Good luck on your quiz tomorrow. You're going to kick butt. Don't stress. Don't stay up late, please. Just try to do some more studying and then call it that and try to go into that quiz confident. Cool? All right. Be good and stay safe, you guys. Take care.